Welcome everybody to our update on Heart and Soul in Burundi, the update of our second trip there on behalf of Knox. A couple of words that everybody in the team that went picked up. The first one, amahoro, which the local people wave with two hands as they say amahoro, which is hello. So we bring you greetings from everybody in the medical missionary team in Kibuye, Burundi, as well as Murakoze, which is the native tongue for thank you. Many gratitudes were expressed that we were asked to express back to you for everything that you did to help support this trip and all that God did in and through it. The hospital there that forms the basis of providing care is expanding. And it was really encouraging to see that the first trip that we made there, they were just laying the foundation for what is now an almost finished 3-story pediatric wing to better care for child patients at the hospital. So God is continuing to bless the efforts there through the medical missionary work that's being done. Our team who went this time went there primarily to provide the second set of lessons from the Heart and Soul curriculum that we started on our first trip. So the team that went this time included Mary and myself, Tom and Ruth Ann Robinson, and Kathy and John Brace, as well as Erica Ossie. The first 6 of us went on the first trip. Erica joined us for this trip and was a huge blessing in many ways. So our group from Knox, our team, combined to be able to do everything necessary to carve out the time for the parents and the singles who are part of the group there to be able to participate in the second set of 6 lessons that are part of the Heart and Soul curriculum. And with busy jobs and lives and young children as part of the mix, it really was a multi-faceted effort of carving out the time. Ruth Ann and Tom and Mary and myself delivered the lessons while Kathy and John and Erica cared for the children and provided activities that were value added for them, just as our time strengthening marriages and supporting the folks, the adults there through individual counseling sessions was also very beneficial and used of God to bring blessing. One of the high points was being able to deliver the gifts that many of you had contributed on the front end of our trip, kind of customized care packages that were your responses to each of the wish list items that the families there had made known. And so one of the high points in terms of the gratitude and the joy that was experienced and expressed, whether it was coffee or cheesecake or cheese or any other kinds of snacks, which are either difficult or impossible for folks to get in Burundi. There's a lot of joy and a lot of gratitude expressed at that time.
Hi, as Steve mentioned, my name is Erica Ossie. I was a new addition to the team this year. I've been attending Knox since 2008, since my middle school years, and have just finished my undergraduate degree in teaching. I was really excited to be welcomed into a part of this team, both to serve the community there, as well as to see what life is like in Kibuye. I was invited to this team to give John and Kathy Brace an extra hand with the childcare, as the parents were in the Heart and Soul sessions. That looked like both babysitting for the younger children in the nighttime sessions, as well as some larger group activities during the day for the daytime sessions of Heart and Soul. As you can see in these pictures, the big group activities were cheer making. There on the right, we were creating team cheers, as well as storytelling, balloon games, and even we got to learn some of the Kibuye team's favorite group games, so that was really fun too. There were also some small group activity times, which is what you see here. So there was science making or science experiments with John, and letter making with Kathy there on the right. We also did coloring and comic strip creating. We were playing with slime. We played with silly putty, and lots of other fun activities that Kathy and John had planned. We heard from the team that this time of childcare for their children was a huge blessing. Both allowed them to go to the Heart and Soul sessions, but also know that their children were being cared for. But it was also, I know I speak for the whole team, a huge blessing for us to get to know the kids a little bit better. Part of that included doing some substitute teaching, which I was really honored that we were able to be a part of that. Mary is teaching some middle school math there. I got to do third grade math, and then Mary also taught art, and Steve did PE classes for the children. I was personally really touched that they allowed us to be in those classrooms. It was particularly enjoyable and meaningful for me, as I plan to go back to Kabuye this August for 2 years to be one of the teachers at their school there. We thank you all for the ways in which you helped to bless the children in Kabuye through your donations, helping with planning of the activities, and most importantly, through your prayers. So thank you.
Another way in which our team got to serve was in the construction of this playground. They had nothing like it on site, and the kit for this playground had been sitting in a container for several months, waiting somebody with enough margin to be able to assemble it. And at the beginning of the week, they asked our 3 men, Tom and Steve and John, if they would be willing to begin the construction project. Little did they know, they were such an efficient crew that they actually finished it by the time we were finished with our time there. And so we had a ribbon cutting ceremony, and the kids were absolutely delighted to be able to, they would play on this day and night once it was completed, and the parents as well said it was a real joy and blessing. And one of the mothers even said, this playground is a testimony to the Heart and Soul team. So it was wonderful to serve in that way. We were also able to serve the people of Kabuye. Every Friday, they have a malnutrition program where mothers and children can come and receive a measured amount of busoma grain, as well as a hard-boiled egg, a single hard-boiled egg for each child who is not nursing as a protein supplement. So in addition to giving out, participating in giving out those food items, we used the money that you donated in the Beans and Blankets drive, and were able to purchase 300 blankets, 300 bags of beans, and bars of soap to also give out. You can see all the people in the background waiting in line to go through the line and not only receive their grain and egg, but also the soap and the beans, which the beans were not intended for food, but for planting, because they had been saying they need seeds for planting. So even a bag of beans will be multiplied. And then the blankets, we were able to purchase very nice, large, heavy blankets that were not just to cover an individual, but that would accommodate an entire family. So thank you for your generous donations for that. We also had the privilege of participating with the worship service of the community. So every Sunday morning, they have a 1-hour French service and a 3-hour Burundi service. So we attended the 1-hour French service, and we got to worship some songs in French and some in English. And Pastor Tom gave the message on Jeremiah 18 about God being the potter and we are the clay. And you can see John Brace to the right, who is fluent in French, and he translated the sermon. So this is a blessing to the English-speaking families who normally, they and their children hear sermons in French every week, and they got to hear a sermon in their native tongue.
And so again, it was a blessing to be able to be sent. So our team, on behalf of our team, we thank you, our church family at Knox, for all that you did to support us being able to go and minister in the ways that we were able to. We are grateful to God that he showed up significant ways and used us in ways to bring blessing to in all the different avenues that we've kind of described. And we also bring Murakose, which is thanks, from the team there, the medical missionary team, who are very grateful for all that you have done to bless them, their mission work there, and each of them individually and as families. So we thank you, and we also ask for your ongoing prayers for the work that they are doing there. Not only the medical missionary work, but even as they face the additional challenge that the coronavirus pandemic is bringing to their under-resourced country. At the last time we spoke with them, they didn't even have testing yet for coronavirus in their local area. And so would covet your prayers to continue to keep them and the health of their families and their patients in mind and before God. One other quick update. Some of you had heard this already, that there was an armed robbery attempt. 4 armed assailants broke into one of the family's homes that's part of the team there. And with the mistaken understanding that there was a large amount of money in that home, and there wasn't. And the father of that family was stabbed and choked, and his wife and son and daughter and a couple of dinner guests were tied up and terrorized. By the grace of God, no other harm was done, and the perpetrators fled with the intervention of some other folks. But the traumatic impact of what happened on that family and their guests, as well as on the entire community there, was no small thing. And so by God's grace, healing has, been happening, but just to let our church family know about that need for prayer and ongoing health and healing in that regard as well. So from everybody in Burundi and from all of our team, we say Murakose Knox.